So, have you ever wondered how a truly masterful writer can take the simplest, the most completely ordinary event in nature, and somehow use it to reveal these profound psychological truths? Well, that's exactly what we're going to explore today in this explainer. We're looking at a poem that absolutely proves you do not need epic battles or some grand, sweeping narrative to create something deeply moving. Honestly, sometimes all it takes is a really cold day, a tree, and a simple dusting of snow.
Now, I want you to really think about this for a second. Can a tiny, completely unexpected moment actually change your entire day? We've all been there, right? You wake up, something goes wrong, and bam, suddenly you're just in a terrible mood. Your thoughts are heavy, the world feels dark, and you literally feel like the entire day is just a complete waste. Or, to use a kind of old-fashioned word, you feel like the day is ruined. I want you to keep that subdued, really heavy feeling of a ruined day right in the back of your mind as we go through this, because that is exactly where our story begins.
Okay, let's meet the architect behind the work we're digging into today, Robert Frost. He is a literal towering figure in American literature. Living from 1874 to 1963, he wasn't just, a popular writer. The guy was a 4-time Pulitzer Prize winner. Frost built this massive reputation on these incredibly realistic depictions of rural life. But, and this is the absolutely crucial thing to know about him, he didn't just write about trees and birds to paint pretty pictures. No way. He used simple events in nature to convey incredibly deep, profound meanings about human life and emotion.
All right, let's dive right into this and literally map out the chronological sequence of Frost's surprisingly brief winter poem, Dust of Snow. It is so straightforward on the surface. Step 1, our speaker is outside in the freezing cold, totally trapped in a sad, regretful mood. Step 2, a crow suddenly shakes a branch right above him. Step 3, a fine dust of snow falls down onto the speaker. And finally, step 4, his mood instantly lifts. Boom! The negative feelings just vanish and he realizes the day isn't wasted after all. That's the whole shebang. It's such a tiny incident, but as you'll see, the true magic is in exactly how Frost constructs this specific moment.
To really see how this builds, check out the brilliant contrast Frost sets up here. In literature, writers use symbols to set our expectations, right? On one side, we have our negative expectations. Frost deliberately places his speaker right under a hemlock tree, which, fun fact, is literally a poisonous plant that's been long associated with sorrow and pessimism. And what kind of bird is hanging out in that tree? A crow, a bird that's traditionally used as a symbol of negativity, sadness, and even doom. But wait, look at the positive reality. Out of these dark, toxic symbols falls the dust of snow, representing hope, positivity, and change. Frost is totally subverting our expectations here. He's taking the darkest symbols of nature to deliver this completely unexpected moment of salvation and light. And this brilliantly illustrates the mechanics behind the poem's beauty. Let's break down the rhyme scheme. Notice how perfectly balanced it is? In the first stanza, crow rhymes with snow, and me rhymes with tree. That gives us a really tight A-B-A-B pattern. Then in the second stanza, heart rhymes with part, and mood rhymes with rude, giving us C-D-C-D. It is incredibly tight, highly structured. But this regular musical rhythm isn't just there to, sound pretty. It actually mimics the steady, quiet falling of the snow itself. It creates this soothing rhythm that starts to naturally lift the reader's mood, right along with the speaker's.
Now, let's look at another sneaky tool Frost uses to create that flow, enjambment. This is essentially when a sentence just continues from one line to another without a pause. In Dust of Snow, Frost doesn't bother putting periods or commas at the end of every line. The thought simply spills over the edge of one line directly into the next. This keeps the energy of the poem continuously moving. It's like, just like you can't stop a snowflake midair once it's shaken loose, enjambment ensures the reader's eye and voice fall smoothly and rapidly down the page, perfectly mirroring the physical action of the snow falling right onto the poet.
So the really crucial point here is that every single structural choice is deliberate. Take inversion, for example. This is simply reversing the normal word order. Frost writes, "The way a crow shook down on me." It's a slightly unusual way to phrase the sentence, isn't it? Actually, by using inversion, Frost basically forces us to pay closer attention. It jolts us out of our standard reading habits, very much like the sudden falling of the snow broke the speaker out of his standard, depressing thoughts. It totally highlights the deliberate, masterful construction behind what seems like very simple imagery.
And let's look at just one more phonetic device, alliteration. That repetition of consonant sounds at the beginning of words. Take the phrase, "has given my heart." Do you hear that repeating H sound? It's soft, it's breathy. It almost sounds like a literal sigh of relief. Frost uses this specific sound device right at the exact moment the speaker's mood shifts from sadness to joy. The sound of the words literally mirrors the sudden positive emotional shift happening inside the speaker. Talk about a brilliant pairing of sound and meaning.
Now, what's really interesting about this, I want you to seriously think about a crucial question. What would be lost if the poet had used a sparrow instead of a crow? Think about it. A sparrow or a nightingale, those are pleasant, happy little birds. If a cheerful little bird shook snow on you, well, you might naturally expect to feel happy. But Frost uses a crow, a dark, harsh scavenger. If you change the crow to a sparrow, you completely lose the core message of the entire poem. The magic here is that happiness came from an unexpected, seemingly negative source. It genuinely challenges us to rethink our assumptions about exactly where joy can be found.
All right, let's pull back for a second and look at the big picture. These are the core themes Frost is actually communicating. He's showing us the sheer power of nature to act as a psychological healer. He's illustrating positive transformation and, of course, hope. But I think most importantly, he's highlighting the importance of small things. Listen, you don't need to win the lottery or go on some grand, expensive vacation to experience a change in perspective. Life can dramatically improve through the tiniest, most unexpected experiences. It's just a powerful reminder that negative situations do not have to last forever and that every single moment holds the possibility for an immediate change.
Which naturally leads us to this incredibly profound philosophical question: how does the poem demonstrate the idea that perspective can change reality? Just think about the speaker standing under that tree. The cold winter day didn't suddenly become warm and sunny. The poisonous hemlock tree didn't magically turn into a blooming rosebush, right? The physical reality of that harsh winter environment stayed exactly the same. The only thing that changed was the speaker's perspective. The simple act of the snow falling shifted his internal mindset, and because his mindset changed, his entire reality of that day completely transformed from ruined to saved.
So how do we bridge the gap between a 20th century poem and our modern, super stressful lives? Well, we can actually use Frost's lesson right now, today. When you're feeling completely overwhelmed or stressed, just step outside and actively appreciate nature. Force yourself to look for the positive aspects, even in really difficult situations. Try to find the dust of snow falling from the hemlock trees in your own life. It's really all about practicing gratitude and understanding that massive mood changes don't always require massive events. They can come from incredibly simple, everyday experiences if we just manage to keep our eyes open to them.
And wow, that brings us to our final thought. The poem Dust of Snow is short, sure, but its impact is immense. It proves that nature can heal us, that pessimism can be instantly shattered, and that joy very often hides in the exact places we least expect it. So I'm going to leave you with this question to chew on. The next time you are having just a terrible day and something small, totally unexpected, and utterly simple happens, are you going to remain stubbornly in your bad mood, or will you let your next dust of snow completely change your perspective? Keep your eyes open for those moments.